50 Cent, who has been exchanging with the Harris family for weeks, has new material to work with after King Harris was caught in a Pikachu onesie. Let's examine how this arrest occurred, what preceded it, and why 50 Cent, of all people, is responding to it. It was approximately 1 in the morning. Somewhere in Gwinnett County, Georgia, close to Holcomb Bridge Road and Peachtree Corners Circle on Sunday, April 13, 2026. A Tesla Cybertruck dressed in camouflage was speeding in a 45 miles per hour zone. King Harris, the 21-year-old driver, is T's son. Officers saw the Cybertruck speeding close to Holcomb Bridge Road and Peachtree Corners Circle, with Tiny driving. The car continued to go at 60 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone while drifted between lanes and neglected to signal, so the police had to reach speeds of 80 miles per hour to catch it. When King was eventually stopped by the cops, things quickly got out of hand. The officer noticed a weapon on the dashboard that was within the driver's grasp during the stop. King was told by the officers to exit the automobile right away. Harris told the officer that he was only heading to get dinner and was unaware of how quickly he was traveling. The officer informed him that he was under arrest for obstruction after he repeatedly refused to exit the truck. This is where things start to get interesting, though. T's son, and Tiny, who was wearing a Pikachu onesie, allegedly refused to get out of his car during the traffic check. A full-body yellow Pikachu outfit, that's correct. Additionally, King Harris took out his phone when police were at his window dealing with a visible firearm and an uncooperative driver. Before the officers went back to his car, Harris posted a picture of himself wearing the Pikachu onesie during the traffic check. Pikachu's face is seen on top of Harris's head in the picture. "They not catching this Pikachu tonight," he captioned his Instagram story. "Pikachu got pulled over," he wrote. "They apprehended him." After speaking with his attorney, he finally went outside. He was then taken to the Gwinnett County Jail while handcuffed. At that point, after King was arrested and taken to the jail, his situation deteriorated. One oxycodone pill, a Schedule II restricted narcotic, was discovered on him by staff. Officers also observed an open THC container on the center console and a gun on the dashboard. Now let's add this up. According to Gwinnett County Jail records, Harris is accused of speeding, not wearing a seatbelt, and deliberately obstructing law police. Additionally, he is accused of having a Schedule II controlled substance in his hands. In Georgia, that last one is a felony. Additionally, King was dressed like Pikachu the entire time. The arrest that is currently making the rounds on the internet coincides with the ongoing conflict between 50 Cent and the entire Harris family, which is currently one of the largest feuds in hip-hop. You have to go back to the beginning of 2026 to see why 50 Cent would be concerned about King Harris's arrest. At that time, there was a long simmering issue between 50 Cent and T. At last, erupted into a full-scale public conflict. This specific beef has deep origins that are entangled in ego, social media provocation, and a rejected Versus challenge. Fifth pursued T. and his loved ones on social media following accusations made by the trap pioneer that he had backed out of a Versus duel that he had previously committed to. That charge set off a chain reaction. The T. He told the world that he felt degraded. However, 51 Cent, who has always been a provocateur, did not respond with words or song. He immediately rushed to Instagram, the one platform where he causes the greatest harm. Additionally, he pursued more than only T. He pursued T. Tiny Harris, his wife. T is followed shortly after by the seeming jabs. In reaction to his conflict with his father, King Harris, his son, took to the internet to criticize 50 Cent. The Harris household was rocked by 50 Cent's mocking photos and AI-generated content directed at the family, especially Tiny. This was not your typical rap feud. It was specifically directed at T's closest friends and family members and was personal, cutting, and at that point, King Harris joined the conversation. The 21-year-old decided he wasn't going to watch helplessly while one of the most well-known trolls in hip-hop history dragged his parents online. In reaction to his conflict with his father, King Harris took to the internet to criticize 50 Cent. He brought up his 2000 shooting, accused him of being outsold and embarrassed by Kanye West, called him out for disparaging Lil' Kim after attempting to date her, and much more. King didn't hold anything back. He targeted everything about 50 Cent, including his background, reputation, and image. A young man who thought his family was being attacked took a scorched earth stance. He then went one step farther. In the midst of his fight with 50 Cent, King Harris is not holding back. He has even uncovered documents from 2009. He posted what appears to be a 2009 official FBI report on Instagram Music. According to the paper, 50 allegedly placed an anonymous tip on Lil Lloyd Mack Fletcher's murder inquiry. He informed authorities that James Jimmy henchman Rosemont had given the order to kill Lloyd Mack and that he was afraid for his safety. In hip-hop, that is the nuclear option. The final line you can cross is posting documents claiming that someone collaborated with law enforcement. King Harris used both feet to cross it before continuing on. The T. I am. Subsequently remarked, "I said that's enough." When I saw that t-shirt, King was referring to a garment that featured an image of 50 Cent's late mother, who died when 50 was only 8 years old. He defiantly wore it in public to send a message to 50 Cent. Even T.I. He said that his son had gone to XR with that specific action, I am. Stated. "No, I'm not fond of it." When asked if his children's answers were nice, he said, "I spent so much time trying to get this Lil Einar off the ledge. Now, he has justifiable means to undo all of the teaching that I've been teaching." However, despite his best efforts, I am was obviously proud in some way. He did use to convey his pride in King and Damani's protection of their mother. "I'm a logical, reasonable man of respect," stated I am. "I brought up my kids to be respectable men." For the most part, 50 Cent dealt with King's provocations. He uses memes, sarcasm, and a refusal to interact on an equal footing to deal with the majority of conflicts from people he views as beneath him. It appears that 50 Cent addressed I am. King Harris, his son, shared the frog image in a Pepe song. 50 was giggling where King was yelling. 50 is advertising his Broadway plays and posting cartoon frogs, while King was wearing memorial t-shirts and sharing FBI records. 50 continued to criticize the trap pioneer and his family members on Instagram. He did this while promoting the 2026 Broadway production of August Wilson's Joe Turner's Coming Gone, which he executive produced on April 25. "No rappers, no bad BBLs, no little freaked up albino kids, just sold out Broadway," he wrote as the caption for the photo. Many people took that as a direct jab at King Harris and Tiny. The I am. And his children's songs has made multiple jabs at 50 Cent for either avoiding I am versus request or disparaging Tiny. 50 has not yet insulted Wax, and it doesn't appear that he will in the future. Without ever entering a recording studio, 50 was winning the psychological war in addition to managing a television empire and producing Broadway productions, he was launching his attacks from the expertly manicured chaos of his Instagram feed. You can therefore imagine 50 Cent's response when King Harris was caught in the middle of the night in a Pikachu onesie with a gun on the dashboard, drugs on his person, and a refusal to obey police commands. The fact that King Harris has experienced similar incidents in the past makes this arrest much more painful. This is a pattern that has been developing for many years. Every run-in with the authorities creates a new level of anxiety, a new chapter in an ongoing narrative. Harris has already encountered legal issues in Georgia. He was arrested in 2024 after an officer smelt marijuana in his car and accused him of almost hitting a police officer at a Dunwoody gas station. On its own, that episode was concerning. A young man with a well-known last name almost hit a police officer with his car. The police pulled him up as he was leaving a petrol station, smelt the distinct smell of marijuana coming from the car, and discovered something that made matters worse. The officer swiftly discovered that Harris had an arrest warrant out for his failure to appear in court when he allegedly smelt marijuana emanating from the car. After cooperating, he was arrested at the DeKalb County Jail. That warrant had a longer history. Additionally, he was previously transported to Pickens County on a bench warrant for neglecting to show up for a speeding and DUI-related traffic stop in 2022. King Harris was already facing DUI and speeding offenses at the age of 17 or 18, and he then neglected to appear in court, resulting in the issuance of a bench warrant. In August 2025, those Pickens County charges were formally withdrawn. Eventually, the charges were dropped. However, the pattern of behavior did not. And now, in April 2026, the 21-year-old is sitting in the back of a different police vehicle in a different Georgia county, facing a new set of charges that may be more serious than anything he has ever encountered. He's encountered this before. King Harris is charged with felony narcotics possession, which could have serious legal repercussions. Georgia law takes possession of banned substances very seriously, particularly if the person has a history of arrests. It's a felony this time. On the dashboard, a gun was seen this time. During the booking process, oxycodone was discovered on his person this time. Officers were just steps away from a loaded handgun when he repeatedly refused to exit the vehicle this time. There has been a backlash against the careless behavior both during and after the arrest. Harris posted a photo of himself flicking off the camera without the costume in a different post. He wrote graphic words against the arresting policeman and used profanity intended at police. Online followers questioned his maturity and judgment due to his careless attitude regarding serious drug possession accusations. King did not back down after obtaining bond and leaving jail. He remained silent. He went all out, celebrated on social media, and posted a video of himself riding a go-kart to flaunt the entire onesie. Pikachu is free, man. Rocket FK team. He made the arrest into a joke, created that post, and his own joke. And for a lot of people seeing from the outside, it perfectly captured the issue. This young man was found in possession of a pistol and is charged with felony narcotics offenses. And as soon as he was freed, his first thought was to record himself on a go-kart while wearing the same Pikachu costume and announce himself liberated. The repercussions go well beyond the courts when you provide this kind of ammunition to one of the most infamous provocateurs in entertainment. What transpired when T discovered his kid had been stopped by police is arguably the most illuminating aspect of the entire story. A video of his arrest and their talk with his father was made public by the Gwinnett County Police Department. Rapper T from Atlanta. The Gwinnett County Police Department later made the body camera footage public. Conveys a story inside a story. The arresting officer briefed his father, Rapper T, when he arrived. T drove to the spot where his kid had been stopped on Holcomb Bridge Road. He got out of his car and walked up to the officers with the calm demeanor of a man who has been handcuffed multiple times and understands how these situations can go out of control. The officer gave a clear explanation of the circumstances. We tried to get him away from the gun on the dashboard, so we told him to step out of the car, but he refused. The officer informed T that law enforcement's justification was simple. For everyone's protection, they had to keep the driver away from the obvious weapon. King declined. A speeding penalty became an obstruction charge as a result of that refusal. T's reaction to the policeman is instructive. The rapper from Atlanta then posed a planned question to the officers. Did he express his fear for safety? He wasn't shouting. He wasn't using profanity. He was probably already considering how this interaction would unfold in court or in the court of public opinion when he asked if his kid had expressed any concern for his own well-being. "We got to be safe, too," a cop retorted. The intensity of the whole situation is captured in that short conversation. A father attempting to keep his son safe. Police attempting self-defense. And a 21-year-old who had been live streaming the incident minutes earlier while dressed as a Pikachu. King had resisted the officers throughout the actual incident before T showed up. Harris asked why he had to get out of the automobile. "You want me to get out my car to talk to me about what?" Harris inquired. In response, the officer cited legal precedent and safety concerns. Harris was warned he would be arrested for obstruction during a tense standoff that began when he refused to get out of the car. After a phone conversation with his attorney, he finally cooperated. Thus, King was ultimately persuaded to exit the Cybertruck by his lawyer, rather than his father. His son was already detained, booked, and charged for T when T got there. Compared to a random piece of online drama, this arrest has a different outcome. This is the same individual who was incarcerated for more than a year on weapons-related offenses. He is familiar with the appearance of a cell's interior. He is aware of the impact a criminal conviction has on a young man's life. In front of millions of social media followers, he witnessed his son handle the entire situation like a joke. It is impossible to avoid the irony. A few weeks prior, T had discussed the challenges of raising his son and attempting to steer him in the right direction during his interview on the Ebro or Rosenberg show over King's role in the 50 Cent dispute. He had discussed how King now had legitimate ways to reverse all of the instruction he had been imparting. At 1 a.m, King appeared in a Cybertruck shrouded in camouflage. He was filming the entire event for Instagram while wearing a Pokémon costume, a gun on his dash, and a controlled chemical on his body. T and Tiny Harris, his parents, have not made a public statement regarding the incident. Tiny and T have not yet discussed this most recent arrest in public. When a man as talkative as T becomes silent, it tells volumes. It typically indicates that the issue is too complex, too difficult, too severe, or to handle through Instagram captions and social media posts. Thus, we reach the heart of it all. 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson. The billionaire troll mentioned in the title, the man who has elevated petty into an art form, and who has never let a chance to boast pass him in more than 20 years of public life. 50 Cent had everything he could possibly want when word of King Harris's arrest spread online, including a Pikachu onesie, the Cybertruck, the gun on the dashboard, the oxycodone pill, the Instagram stories, the refusal to get out of the car, and the body cam footage of T confronting officers. Gift-wrapped in a yellow Pokémon costume, King Harris brought it to him. Only a few weeks after Harris gained notoriety for interfering in his father's conflict with 50 Cent, news of his most recent legal troubles has surfaced. The timing couldn't have been better for 50 Cent or worse for the Harris family. Just a few weeks earlier, King had been the aggressor, uploading purported FBI documents, donning a t-shirt that made fun of 50's late mother, releasing diss tracks, accusing others of snitching, and essentially establishing himself as the enforcer in his father's feud. In his, he portrayed himself as a courageous warrior protecting his family's honor from the Queen's rapper. And now he was the 21-year-old who was taken into custody at 1 a.m. During the traffic stop, he took selfies while wearing a children's cartoon costume, boasting that the cops couldn't catch him. He had a revolver within arm's reach and medications in his pocket. He was later apprehended. That's more than just ammunition for 50 Cent. That is a heavenly gift. The answer was given by 50 Cent. The way he uses precisely timed social media content to deliver all of his most devastating blows. His favored battlefield, Instagram, where he has humiliated numerous opponents over the years, is where he responded to the arrest. He has never altered his playbook. Locate the ridiculousness, magnify it, and let the internet handle the rest. 50 Cent's answers reveal a recurring theme in his rap feuds. Get your family involved, provoke them, and watch the drama play out. Consider the contrast that 50 Cent is able to create in this instance. On the one hand, He runs a TV empire that includes some of the most popular dramas on television, promotes his spirits business, posts about sold-out opening nights and executive produces Broadway productions. In order to showcase his TV accomplishments on Instagram at the end of February, 50 Cent took a vacation from memes about the Harris family. I understand your thoughts. How is this taking place? I'm on fire, that's all. He wrote in a post's caption. King Harris, the man who called him a snitch and made fun of his deceased mother, is on the other side. Having an oxycodone pill fall out of his pocket while wearing a Pikachu onesie and being booked into Gwinnett County Jail. For that contrast, 50 Cent doesn't even need to compose a caption. The facts are self-explanatory. And that's why adds so much intrigue to the whole thing. For more than 20 years, 50 Cent has been doing this. He halted his career after a falling out with Ja Rule. He made fun of Rick Ross's history as a correctional officer until it came to define their rivalry. He pursued Young Buck, Diddy, Floyd Mayweather, French Montana, and many more.